Chairman Sohn, welcome.
Thank you.
Just to start out, can you briefly describe your company and industry focus?
All right. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Sohn, Chairman and CEO of Enzychem Lifesciences, a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company headquartered in Seoul, Korea. Enzychem is focused on the developing innovative new drug to target patients with significant unmet needs in oncology and inflammatory disease and severe respiratory disease. Our lead candidate is E18, mosedipimod, is a proprietary orally available small molecule drug, which is in development as a potential new therapeutic for cancer supportive care, inflammatory disease, and as a potential candidate for combination therapy with the immune checkpoint inhibitors. Based on the current unmet medical needs, E18 is currently in 3 phase 2 clinical trials, including as a potential therapy for COVID-19 pneumonia patients and cancer patients suffering from chemoradiation.
How has COVID-19 reshaped your sector in the last year, and what are some of the most promising areas that you see for investment?
At Enzychem, in order to respond to a global pandemic, we immediately formed the COVID-19 task force in January and filed an IND to conduct a phase 2 study in both Korea and US. To realize this goal, we recruited the top tier medical experts across the world, including the head of the COVID-19 task force at the Duke University School of Medicine, Dr. Cameron Wolf, who is leading our COVID-19 phase 2 study in the US. We are conducting the phase 2 study for E18 in preventing the progression of COVID-19 pneumonia patient to severe pneumonia or acute respiratory distress syndrome, ARDS. The ongoing study in Korea has already completed more than 80% of the targeted patient recruitment. The US-based multi-center randomized double-blind and placebo-controlled trial is soon to be initiated and will assess the safety and efficacy of E18 in COVID-19 pneumonia patient. I firmly believe that the most promising area for investment currently is COVID-19. Although remdesivir or an antiviral drug was approved for severe COVID-19 patients, and many other vaccines are being approved, there is still a huge unmet medical need for COVID-19 pneumonia patient, which accounts for almost 80% of the total COVID-19 patient population.
As someone who is an expert in all of these things, how have you found the remote working impacting the way financial transactions are managed? What's been good and what's been difficult?
Well, in my opinion, remote working has not impacted how our team at Enzychem manages the user transactions. As a global company, we are accustomed to conducting multi-way teleconference calls with our colleagues and collaborators in different time zones. I would say that participating in the financial roadshows has been much easier as you can now schedule back-to-back meetings without traveling, which also saves travel expenses. This year, our team is very excited to meet with potential licensing partners and investors during the JP Morgan, which will be held virtually for the first time. We are already seeing a lot of inbound interest in terms of meetings, and we are looking forward to presenting at the Biotech Showcase during the JPM week.
Wonderful. So, final question for you. For other companies in the space, what are your key tips for raising funding and investment? What would you advise to companies who are maybe just starting out on their path, you know, as someone who's been there and done a lot of it?
We have been fortunate to receive significant support and interest from investors, even in this current pandemic era. We recently completed a remarkably successful financing round of around $50 million, which just closed in November. We were able to attract several renowned Korean investment funds from 7 major investment firms. Our team is now looking forward to raising another $50 million preferred stock issuance, and we are currently in talks with several international investors. For companies looking to raise financing, relationship building is a key before any financing rounds. At Enzychem, we have invested a lot of efforts in building a top-tier investor relations team, both in Korea and in the US. Pandemic has changed how investor meetings are conducted, and I would recommend sending out the relevant the presentation slide deck ahead of time to utilize the time efficiently on the video conference calls with the investors. Moreover, during this time, companies needs to be more proactive in terms of offering to help investors understand the company's investment history and strategic plans. You are trying to build trust, and companies needs to manage their cash flow wisely to have sufficient funds for achieving our target milestones, such as completion of clinical trials. We are focused on developing our lead candidate EC18 across multiple target indications, including COVID-19 pneumonia, and we look forward to announcing more exciting clinical updates next year.